Okay, I did probably the dumbest thing I could have done. I literally started the stream, but I forgot to plug in my mic. It's all good though. I don't start story time immediately. We're waiting till 10:30, so we got plenty of time. Let me just get the There's literally a bug on my computer right now. Okay, yeah, it works fine. Yeah, there's a bug on my computer. But I'll go ahead and advertise the stream and wait for everyone to get on. Okay, well, Carlbot's doing its thing. So I was gonna advertise it in a couple servers and we'll get started. Okay, I think I got advertised, so looks like we're good. Yeah, it's appearing on my it appears on my feed, so therefore that's all I gotta do. Just gotta wait 13 more minutes, and I'll begin the story time. Also, I might hear crickets in the background. It's like it's 10:17 right now at night, so there's a bunch of crickets out for no reason. So, just in case y'all want to hear, like, y'all are wondering, like, what that background noise is. If y'all can hear it, I don't think y'all can. So, I'm also going to turn the other lamp on. Yeah, we'll get started in 12 minutes. Okay, I'm turning this other lamp off. It's kind of blinded me. I mean, I'm already blind, but it's blinded me even more. So I have family over, and one thing I hate with whenever I have family over is that my little cousin and when my little cousin and my sister get together, they are absolutely insane. Like, I think they just like broke some blinds or something. Like that, they do really stupid stuff. It bugs me to death, but they're gone tomorrow, so it's all good. So, I'm also gonna lock the office door because I know they're gonna do something really stupid. I mean, whenever they come together, you know that trouble is about to happen. It's just it's how it works. So, I'm also literally gonna do my war attack on Clash of Clans real quick. So, yes, I'm doing my war attack. So, therefore, I'll do. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna get the 3-star on my war attack, but I got the 2-star, so I'm fighting a max Town Hall 10, so I mean I'm not expecting to get the 3-star, but I mean it's not that bad. Yeah, I've so far got 70%. Well, now 73. Now 75. Yeah, I'm not gonna get the 3-star, but I mean, I'm doing really good for what I thought I was gonna do. Actually doing really good. I'm already at 77, so probably gonna get like 80. I've got 2 P.E.K.K.A.s, so we're gonna do a lot. Okay. I got 89 on them, so that's not bad. I got 89. That's really good. I thought I wasn't even gonna win that attack, but hey, it worked. I got 89%. That's okay. At least I actually did my attack. Unlike the past few days, I actually missed my war attacks because I've been busy. So I got an 89. That's way better than I thought. Yeah, so we're gonna begin in about 5 minutes. In about 2 minutes, we're going to begin. Alright, we're going to begin. Okay, yeah, mic's working, and let's go. So about a week and a half ago, I turned 17 years old, so I thought why not make a story time about the history of my birthday? Well, there were a couple issues. One, my 17th birthday was on a Monday, and the other issue was that I took story time off last week. So now that I'm back from my break, how about we actually do this story time? I'm Zach, and this is Storytime 26 on July 2nd, 2021. So first off, when is my birthday? Well, I was born on June 21st, 2004. This might not sound like a long time ago, but if you compare it to events during this time, you could actually tell that, yeah, this was a pretty long time ago. A few examples are that George W. Bush was in his first term, that Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban had just been released, the movie. Eminem and 50 Cent were constantly on top of the charts. The newest Mario Kart game was Double Dash. The original DS had just been released. Martha Stewart was in prison, and I think you get the picture. Things were different back then. However, while I remember some stuff from back then, I really don't remember too much. Therefore, this story time will only go as far back as my 10th birthday, all the way to my 17th birthday. I will be going over each birthday chronologically, so therefore, I'll start with my 10th birthday and move up to my 17th. Anyways, let's begin. June 21st, 2014 was my 10th birthday. Now, I normally don't talk about stuff pre-2015, as it's generally pretty difficult to remember, but this I remember pretty clearly. This was a much simpler time. I was a rising 5th grader. My mom also owned a cheerleading business during this time. She ended up closing it in 2015 to become an elementary school teacher. So pretty much I was friends with a lot of girls. Only problem is that I hadn't hit puberty just yet, so this really wasn't a flex. But mom also had an after-school care and a summer care too, which also had a few boys, so I had them too. And of course, me being the owner's son, you bet I was very popular after-school care and summer care. So, as you might be able to guess, this was a birthday party. Now, as most of y'all know, I'm generally a very quiet person. I hate large gatherings, so generally, a party doesn't really appeal to me. I did this for my 9th birthday party. I enjoyed the party aspect, but it was just a family party, no friends. So for my 10th, since this was of course a very special birthday, I thought, well shit, I need some friends over. And that was a great idea. The reason is because I have a pool in my backyard. Not only that, but June 21st is the longest day of the year, so having a birthday pool party was perfect. So, how did this party go? Well, surprisingly, it went well. I was kind of scared beforehand, since my 9th birthday also had a party but with just family, which was very boring. This party was with friends, so I'd say that's why this party went way better. Not only that, but we got in the pool too. So, the first guest was actually a whole family. So this couple had 4 children. They had a girl about a year younger than me, a boy about 3 years younger than me, a baby boy, and a baby girl. I was friends with both the older girl and the boy, but the girl had to help with her younger siblings, so therefore she couldn't join us. So me and the boy talked for a little bit. We sat under a tree in the front yard like we were Phineas and Ferb, just that we didn't know what we were going to build today. Corny jokes aside, I don't remember exactly what we talked about. I just remember that we sat there talking. Oh, and side note, no, we weren't being watched. This was 2014. This was normal back then, before everyone became pussies. Just wanted to make that clear. After a while, we both got really hot, and we were ready to go swimming, so that's exactly what we did. The girl was still helping with her younger siblings, but she'd eventually hop in to join us. So for now, us two had some fun. We horseplayed, hit each other with noodles, squirted squirt guns at each other. You know, just kids being kids. The girl finished helping with her siblings, and then she got in the pool to join us. After she got in, we played some water basketball. It was really fun. But then came the rest of the guests. Of course, once everyone else started coming in, us three couldn't just play basketball by ourselves, simply because everyone was coming for me as well as the pool, but we still had fun. So, I believe me and that boy were actually the only boys at this pool party. All of my other friends who came over were girls. Mom also invited some other girls whom I didn't know, but this was good actually. Met some new friends and of course got more presents. Speaking of, let's talk about those presents. Well, I would, but I really don't remember all the presents I got. They were probably a bunch of video games and video game gears and other shit like that, as well as of course money. This was a Super Mario themed birthday. After all, Mario was my hero as a child, and even now as a young adult, he still is my hero. But I do remember one present. So sometime in late 2013, Mom bought me and my sister a tablet for us to share. However, for my birthday, my mom bought me my own tablet. I love this thing. I rocked Minecraft Pocket Edition just like I did in 2013 on the old tablet. I would also start rocking Clash of Clans in November of 2014. Crazy that I still play both of these games. Wow, time flies. I should also mention cake. So, I love cookie cake. I love the icing on top of a cookie as it's so good. I've gotten a cookie cake every year since my 9th birthday. The only exceptions were my 13th and 17th birthdays, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. Now, like the presents, I can't remember exactly what the cookie said, although more than likely it said something like, "Happy 10th birthday, Zach," or something like that. Now, what's interesting about this party is that after eating cake and staying around for a bit, I basically disappeared, mainly due to all the attention I was getting was a little bit too much for me. So that's what I did. I bailed out of my room with my presents while everyone was wrapping up the party. I should note that this was not the first time I've done something like this. I actually do this a lot. I just can't stand being around people for that long, so I often do this at family reunions and other social events. Now I want to discuss my 11th birthday. So this is what I wish every birthday was like. While yes, my 10th birthday is very fun to talk about, it was quite exotic. My 11th birthday, on the other hand, was much more peaceful. So therefore, I generally consider my 11th birthday to be probably my best birthday. So this was June 21st, 2015. I was a rising 6th grader. Just about 2 weeks before this, I finished elementary school. However, instead of going to middle school with everyone, I got transferred to a different district to an intermediate school. This kind of sucked, as I was the most popular person at our entire school back in 5th grade. So now, I went from having a ton of friends to having no friends, as I didn't have any contact information from them. But what about the girls from summer daycare? Well, Mom shut her business down the day after I finished 5th grade, so I barely had any friends now, as I didn't have any contact with the information with the girls either. So now, onto the actual day. So this was a Sunday. We normally would be going to church. However, we decided to just skip this day since it was my birthday. As a result, I woke up a bit late. I then walked into the kitchen as my parents had made breakfast. We were all, of course, really happy, since it was my birthday after all. Normally, my birthday does not go this well, but 2015 was different. So then, after eating breakfast, me and my family just hung out around the pool until noon. I should note that we got done eating breakfast at 9:30, so we spent 2.5 hours around the pool. I don't remember too much from this. All I remember was just being in the pool. So then at noon, we all got out and started eating. Not sure what we were eating though, but I remember afterwards, they got the cookie cake out. They didn't sing happy birthday by my request, so they just cut it off and we ate some cookie cake. So you might be wondering why I requested to not have the happy birthday song sung to me. Well, I'm gonna let you off on a little secret. I cannot stand the happy birthday song. I remember on my 4th birthday, I was about to shit my pants when I was sung happy birthday. And even before that, I hated the happy birthday song. I hated it as a baby, I hated it as a child, hated it as a teen, hated it now as a young adult, and will probably hate it the rest of my life. So that's why generally, whenever I have a birthday, the happy birthday song will probably not be sung. Remember this information for my 14th birthday, as it will be very important. So afterwards, there was the present opening. So this was around the time that Skylanders was huge. I of course got on the bandwagon. Funnily enough, I would stop playing it like right before I started the 6th grade in August. But this birthday though had a tons of presents. Almost all of them were Skylanders related. So in my room, I had all 4 posters that came with the boxes and actually checked off which ones I had. I think I completely filled the one for Trap Team. Like legit, I had so much. I also remember getting a set of headphones, although they would end up breaking sometime right before my 12th birthday. So that kind of sucked. So after getting my presents, I very rarely came out of my room for the rest of the day. I did have a couple visitors, all of whom were family, but that's the only time I went out of my room. Other than that, I just stayed in my room playing Skylanders and enjoying the rest of the day. So the reason I consider my 11th birthday to be the best birthday was mainly because I did very little. All I did was swim for 2.5 hours, eat cookie cake, and stay in my room all day. While my 10th birthday was enjoyable, there was too much going on and it was a social event, something I don't like. So now let's jump to my 12th birthday, June 21st, 2016. I was a rising 7th grader, so as stated in previous story times, 2016 was probably the third best year of my life, only behind 2018 and 2019. And unlike most months, I consider June to be the best month of this year. That's not really saying much, as the best month of the year is all over the place. For 2017, it was May. For 2018, it's between either April or August. For 2019, it's kind of indecisive, since every month after March was just so awesome. And for 2020, it was January. So anyways, to get back on topic, June 2016 was awesome, and surprisingly, a lot of it had to do with my birthday, which is quite strange since I hate my birthday. So this birthday actually kind of counts as 3 days, June 20th, June 21st, and June 22nd. They all had their own reasons as to why I combined them all to be my 12th birthday. So let's start off with June 20th. So this day started out pretty bad. I ended up having to stay outside for like 3 hours doing yard work, so that sucked. However, it at least got better, so after finishing up working on the yard, it was basically time to celebrate. So this actually went just like my 11th birthday, minus the yard work of course. My dad was at work, so he didn't attend this. It was just me, my mom, and my sister. We picked up the cookie cake and brought it back home. We then cut some pieces out and began eating it. Afterwards, Mom called me into the office, so she and Dad promised that I could start a YouTube channel whenever I turned 12 years old. I mean, sure, I was still 11, but I was just a day away from turning 12, so we might as well. So to create a YouTube channel, you first need an email, so that's what we did. We created an email for me. In my opinion, the creation of my email was more important than creating my YouTube channel, as my email allows me to use Google Drive, which is how I write these scripts as well as do schoolwork and do a bunch of other stuff. So I think that even if I didn't get a YouTube channel, I would still have made an email since it's just so important. So afterwards, we made my YouTube channel. We of course had to make the account and then turn it into a channel. We had to do some research on it, but we did it and bam, my YouTube channel was born. Then it hit 4:15, time for swim practice. So just about 2.5 weeks prior to my 12th birthday, I began swimming competitively. While I was forced to, I enjoyed it, so I continued on, so therefore I did practice that day. Then after getting home, we had dinner and then I got to open some presents. So just 2 weeks before this, I got a Wii U for making all A's in 6th grade. So therefore, for my birthday, it made sense that I got a few Wii U games. I don't really remember what games I got exactly, but I also remember getting other stuff like clothes as well. However, the presents weren't exactly on my mind. What really was on my mind was my first video to upload, so I recorded the 40-minute Minecraft video. Needless to say that it was super cringy and had some god-awful quality, but I was set on uploading it, so I tried to upload it. However, I didn't know that upload time was this long. I believe that upload time was 4 hours for this, so I decided to let my phone sit there while I was asleep, and then it would upload that night. Needless to say that morning, being the actual day of my 12th birthday, I was pretty disappointed. The video had an error. Honestly, I'm glad I got this error. This video was just so bad and I'm glad it wasn't my first video. As a result, I had to brainstorm new ideas to upload YouTube videos. However, that would be postponed until the next day. The reason was because the preacher's kids came over that day. So the preacher at the church we went to at the time and his family were very close with ours. I mean, my dad was a deacon. Of course they were pretty close. So therefore, we had his kids over that day. The reason was because the preacher likes to study for his sermon on Tuesdays, and therefore, he needed some quiet time to plan out the sermon. So we had the kids over. The kids were adopted from Africa. I'm not sure which country. I think they might have been adopted from Ghana, but all I know is that our preacher and his wife went over to Africa to adopt them and bring them back to the United States. They were both siblings. One of them was a girl about a year younger than my sister, and the other was a boy about 5 years younger than me. They both were overall super fun to be around and overall great kids. So I hung out with the boy all day. We played a ton of video games since I had new video games for my birthday. He didn't know it was my birthday, by the way, so we just laid around and played normally. It was fun. Right before I went to swim practice, the preacher got done with his studying, so he came over to our house to pick them up. Then it was time for swim practice. Now, something to note is that nobody knew it was my birthday. I only had one friend, Aki, and even he didn't know it was my birthday, so therefore, it was just a normal practice. Now, On to the day I personally like to consider to be the day I celebrated my 12th birthday, being June 22nd. So since I didn't have time to record a video the day before, I now did. So I decided to just completely ditch the whole Minecraft thing. Instead, I decided to try to record a game called The Dimperman. I've explained this game multiple times in Storytime. I've explained it a lot in depth last Storytime, so check out that one if you'd like to know more. I'm also working on a Dimperman reboot series right now to celebrate my channel's 5th birthday. Anyways, before uploading, I did more research on how to upload videos and other stuff, basically YouTube 101. I came across a video of a girl about my age showing off how she uploaded videos. Apparently, she uploaded videos to YouTube through the photo gallery. I believe she used an iPhone 5S, so I tried it on my iPod Touch, as that's what I used to record my Dimperman videos, and it worked. This was much faster than uploading through YouTube directly, so that's how I uploaded videos for a very long time. Of course, last week I discussed the uploading process's development in more detail, so check out Storytime 25. Anyways, I uploaded a total of 8 videos that day. All of them were, of course, Dimperman related videos. The first video was uploaded at around noon. I then uploaded about 5 more before heading on to swim practice. After swim practice, I uploaded 2 more. While at practice, I told Aki about my new YouTube channel. He checked it out that night and became my very first subscriber. He's been a huge fan of my channel since. Nowadays, we talk about Storytime whenever I'm driving home to practice. So really cool he's been a fan of my channel for this long. So my 12th birthday description was a little different than my 10th or 11th birthday since my birthday counted as 3 days. This will also be the case for the rest of the birthdays mentioned except my 15th birthday. So just be on the lookout for that. Now on to my 13th birthday, June 21st, 2017. I was a rising 8th grader. Yup, the birthday before that one incredibly challenging school year. So this was during the pre-depression period. I've talked about struggling with depression as well as both of the post-depression periods, but basically, the pre-depression period was, as you could guess, the time period before I started struggling with depression. I'd say this time period lasted from January 2017 to August 2017. I just chose January since it's the beginning of the year, and I don't think it makes sense to have a pre-depression period in 2016. And of course, it ended in August, as September would be the month I began struggling with depression. So overall, the pre-depression period was pretty good. I mean, almost every notable event from this time period all took place in May, since wow, that month had a lot going for it, but we're in June, so how about we get back to on topic to discuss my 13th birthday. So this birthday was okay, I'm just going to say that. So I had to wake up a little early. The reason was because during this week, I was taking a class on the website building. For the most part, I really didn't do all that much. I just really sat on the computer playing games and watching YouTube videos. It's mostly because a lot of the stuff the teacher taught us was pretty rudimentary, and I easily picked up on it, so I was kind of bored. And plus, it was 3 hours a day for 5 days, so of course I got bored pretty easily. Nobody really knew it was my birthday, since I didn't have friends, so therefore I just kept it to myself. Then that afternoon was overall really uneventful, and then came swim practice. So, unlike my 12th birthday, this is a very eventful practice. So my mom told my coach that it was my birthday. Not only that, but I had begun swimming for over a year now, so therefore I made many more friends. They all knew it was my birthday. So what happened? Well, I had to swim a 200 freestyle while the whole team threw kickboards and splashed me. Pretty funny way to celebrate my birthday. Way better than the happy birthday song. You know, instead of singing happy birthday to everyone, why not splash and throw kickboards at people while swimming a 200? That's a way better way of saying happy birthday in my opinion. And then came that night. So this was the only birthday out of all, this and the 17th birthday were the only birthdays out of all birthdays I'm discussing that did not have a cookie cake. So my mom had a friend who actually made this cake. It was a swimming themed cake. This cake was also small, but its size didn't really matter when we talk about just how much sugar was in it, because wow, literally just one slice could fill you up completely. Yeah, this cake had a ton of sugar. It actually took me a little over a week to eat this cake. That's quite a lot. I generally finish cookie cakes in just 2 days, so you bet this was super sweet. Anyways, I don't remember much of the presents I got on my actual birthday. So that brings us to June 23rd. So this was an amazing day. So this is when the main present came in, that being a video camera. So that day, I played with it, learned how to use it. I also recorded a Minecraft video with it. I had a lot of fun doing it. My parents had an old tripod which I used to hold my camera. This video camera would be used a ton throughout the rest of 2017. I recorded video after video with it. I still recorded my usual Dimperman videos with my iPod and later my phone that Christmas, but I recorded Minecraft videos as well as reaction videos with my new video camera. It unfortunately broke sometime in 2018, so therefore I couldn't use it anymore. although I really don't need it as I screen record. Well, I don't screen record, I stream now. So let's discuss my 14th birthday, June 21st, 2018. I was a rising freshman, so this birthday just sucked. I mean, I even mentioned it as one of the worst days of my life in Storytime 23. Yeah, it was that horrible. However, this birthday will discuss 2 days in particular. My actual 14th birthday was a bad day. The other day was actually mentioned as one of the best days of my life on Storytime 24. So to really understand this birthday, I need to address quite a bit of backstory, so let me explain. So my birthday actually took place while I was on a church trip called Fuge. I should note that this was not the same church as this one with the preacher with the adopted children. No, we actually switched churches in July of 2017. So we went to this church now. Anyways, Fuge this year took place in Nashville, Tennessee, about 7 hours away from Charlotte, so I was pretty far away from home. At Fuge, we participated in site groups. These site groups could be in different fields. The field my group was in was children. We basically worked at a summer camp and played with the children. I also want to say that the people in my site group were probably the nicest people I had ever met. I doubt any of y'all are watching this, but just know that y'all were incredible and treated me incredible, unlike my church. Now, probably the most important piece of information regarding the backstory was the first day of Fuge, being Monday, June 18th, 2018. So we had to pick who we wanted to room with. Every other boy had someone to room with. However, I was the only one without a roommate. The worst part about it was that a couple boys said that they were excited to go with me on this trip. What happened to that? Yeah, I ended up having a room with 2 boys, meaning I didn't have a key to my room. So therefore, after site groups, I had to wait outside before one of the boys came in, while the other boys laughed and made fun of me. Since then, I've distanced myself from everyone. I've since forgiven all the boys except the ones in my grade, as they're the biggest assholes in my opinion. So, I actually dedicated an entire story time to this situation, being Storytime 16, if you'd like to check that out. I'm also going to be redoing my story time on Fuge on July 23rd, so be out for that. Anyways, let's discuss my birthday. So, I woke up at 7:45 that morning. We normally had to get up at 6:30 for breakfast, but I just skipped breakfast every day. This was because my sleep was limited. So then, anyways, I headed on to the morning celebration, which is what they called it. It was basically where some band played songs. Afterwards, we split into our side groups and did a Bible study. Then it was time to go to the summer camp we worked at. So this is when my day starts falling apart. When I woke up that morning, I basically made an effort to just forget it was my birthday. Me and my family made an arrangement to celebrate on the 23rd when I got back. I'll talk about that in a bit. Anyways, sometime around lunchtime, my youth pastor and site group leader gathered not just all of us Fuge goers, but also the 25 or so summer camp kids. He then announced that it was someone's birthday and told me to get in front of everyone. Everyone that's then sang happy birthday to me. Normally, I'd be pretty pissed off. But for these people, I let it slide. They were, after all, the nicest people ever, and they also included me in everything, unlike my church. So yeah, it's okay. Still sucked and it was kind of embarrassing though. The rest of the day, I just continued to forget it was my birthday. Unfortunately, I would get sung happy birthday again. This time though, oh god, it's what made this day go from meh to absolute dog shit. So after that night worship with everyone, which included the band again and a big ass Bible study similar to those at D Now, we then did church group time. As you could guess, this is when we got together as a church and talked. This was probably my least favorite part of each day at Fuge, simply because I was with those who left me out just 3 days prior. This is, and by far, the worst church group session. So, this incident took place in the middle of the session. I should note that the church group time lasted from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m. So it was around 10:30. Yeah, see what I mean by limited sleep? So to get back on topic, my youth pastor around this time asked me to go with him. I forgot what it was for. I think he was just talking to me or something. And then when we got back, the lights were out. So I was standing there wondering what the hell happened. And then 2 seconds later, the lights turned back on and everyone started singing happy birthday to me. The happy birthday sung to me at site groups was sung by about maybe 30 people max. This was in front of, I believe, 100 people. Not only that, but these weren't nice people. No, these were the ones that left me out and laughed about it. So now all of a sudden they care about me? I call bullshit. Needless to say that I was really pissed off over this. I of course never showed it, as I managed to hide my anger, but I was still very furious. This event is what made the conflict go from 0 to 100. Now, I felt really insecure about walking back to my dorm after the session was over, so I just walked with my youth pastor on my way back. I remember having a pretty good conversation with him about how much I'd grown since the events of March 8th. We talked about how since then I went from almost committing suicide to giving my life to Christ, becoming smarter, becoming stronger, finishing 8th grade, and getting accepted at early college. Basically, post-depression period part 1, if that's what you want to call it. After Fuge would have been post-depression period part 1, part 2. This is a joke, by the way. I'm never going to split either post-depression periods because that would make, no sense. Anyways, we split whenever I reached the dorms. So he went his own way and I went mine. By the way, I don't mean any hate to my youth pastor for setting up my birthday. He's an amazing person. Probably one of the coolest people I have ever met. So no hate to him. Now, when I went back to my room, I fortunately didn't have to deal with everyone. Both of my roommates were in the room before me, so I didn't have to wait. So one thing we three did was that when we went to bed, at 11 o'clock or a little bit later than 11, we got little sleep. So we wanted to take advantage of all the sleep that we could get. However, clearly everyone else didn't. I could hear some of the boys outside a room being the most obnoxious people ever at 1 o'clock. Come on, people, let us sleep. I remember at 11:30, some of them tried to come to our room to disturb us. More specifically, me. Fortunately, my roommates were both really pissed off just like I was. We three just ignored them, and they eventually got bored and went back to their rooms. I do remember the next morning us three complaining to each other about the whole situation. One of the boys said that he was ready to steal the chainsaw he used in site groups. Should note that his site group was painting construction yard work, so I at least had some great roommates. Now my actual birthday went pretty bad, but the actual day I celebrated my birthday was the complete opposite. So this was Saturday, June 23rd. It was the last day of Fuge. Literally one of the best days ever. So at around 10 or 11 o'clock, we left Nashville and headed back on to Charlotte. It was a long trip, as stated it was a 7-hour drive. We eventually got back to church and my parents were there to pick me up. So when I got home, I got my suitcase and instantly went to my room. My dad got to the grill and my mom got to the kitchen. When I arrived at my room, there were a bunch of presents and letters on my bed. I believe the presents included things like clothes, iTunes gift cards, and other stuff. The letters, of course, included money, so you bet I was very happy. Then it was time for dinner. Dinner took place at around 8:30. We ate by the pool. I should note that June 23rd is one of the longest days of the year, as there was still sun outside. So to dinner I had some burgers and chips. We also talked about the upcoming school year. So in 8th grade, I planned to go to early college for high school, and I got accepted. Therefore, I'd be going to a different school than everyone else in my grade, as well as a different school than everyone at church. We talked about what I wanted to accomplish that year, as well as discuss how challenging it would be. I thought that freshman year would be tough, and I'd be right. Freshman year was tough, but it was a good kind of tough. It made me a better person. As a result, sophomore as well as surprisingly junior year were pretty easy school years for the most part. I think the reason this conversation meant so much to me was because obviously I just got back from Fuge, where I lost my friends. So being included in a conversation with someone who wasn't fake meant a lot to me. Now for, in my opinion, the best part of the day. So one of the presents left on my bed was a cookie cake. So I then proceeded to gather my cookie cake, some Doritos, a Dr. Pepper, my iTunes card, my headphones, and my phone, and bring them into the kitchen. Here, I bought a bunch of music, as well as a game called Bloons Tower Defense 6. Now, I've been a huge fan of Bloons Tower Defense since I was 10, so seeing BTD 6 being released made me super happy. So I stayed up to around 2 or 2:30 eating, listening, and playing BTD 6. You wouldn't believe how much fun I had. To understand, you literally had to be me during this time. In fact, whenever I'm asked to think about the post-depression period, both 1 and 2, this is what comes to mind. Yeah, this was a fantastic day. So now I want to discuss my 15th birthday. This birthday was way better than my 14th birthday. I also only have one day to talk about. This was June 21st, 2019. I was a rising sophomore. So during this time, I was taking driver's ed. Generally, it started at 1 and ended at 4. It lasted from June 17th to June 28th. This class for the most part was really boring. About every video was made during Ronald Reagan's first term, so you bet that they were pretty poor quality and just boring in general. But nonetheless, I did great in this class. However, the 21st was interesting. Instead of starting at the usual time, it actually began at 9 o'clock and ended at 12. The reason was because the eye doctor came to do an eye check. Nothing too major happened at driver's ed nonetheless. Really the same shit I did the past couple days. After driver's ed though, would be the real start to my birthday. So after picking me up, my mom, sister, and grandmother took me to a restaurant. This restaurant is actually where we ate on March 23rd. They of course held the ring toss game out on the balcony. So therefore, we just played the ring toss game while waiting on my food. After we ate, we headed back home, and that's actually where this birthday ends. My 15th birthday was in my opinion one of the best birthdays simply because I didn't do much.
I mean, not as good as like the 11th, but it was still probably the second best birthday. I don't really remember too much of the presents I got, but I do remember getting money. I believe I went on to buy Smash Ultimate and Minecraft for the Switch with that money, but that's where this birthday ends. Now on to my 16th birthday, June 21st, 2020. I was a rising junior. I have 2 days to discuss. So this birthday was pretty bad. The main reason was because 3 months prior to my birthday, the coronavirus pandemic was spreading around the world, and as a result, we all had to quarantine. While I don't mind being alone because I want to, I do mind having to be alone when the government says so. As a result, I generally felt pretty isolated, but not in a good way. So my birthday was on a Sunday. As a result, I had to wake up a little early to watch the church service live stream. After that ended, I opened some presents and headed back to my room. I spent most of the day laying around playing Animal Crossing, wishing the whole pandemic would end. I hadn't seen anyone except my parents, sister, and grandmother in over 3 months. It's weird because I would willingly isolate myself from everyone, including my family, but when the government forces me to, that's when I really don't want to. As a result, this birthday really sucked. It also sucked because I think I got into a fight with my dad. Not sure why, but it was probably over something very petty. But I mean, that was also kind of common during quarantine. Not just me or my dad, but everyone else got a lot more sensible, and overall, this birthday probably would have been way better had coronavirus not have been a bitch. Now, this wasn't the end of my birthday. I also want to mention another day being July 1st, 2020. So on this day, we went to my grandmother's. The one that lives in Asheville. So we paid her a visit, but that's not the only reason why we came. We actually came here to receive the truck. So my grandfather died in 2016, and he left his truck in my name. Therefore, my grandmother had kept it in shape since his death. So now that I was 16, she was letting me have the truck. I did not have my license just yet. That wouldn't be until August. This is the truck I still use today. Now for the last birthday, which took place just a week and a half ago, my 17th birthday, June 21st, 2021, I was a rising senior. So this birthday's sense of location was pretty similar to my 14th birthday, as I was not at home during this birthday. I was in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on vacation. My parents wanted to do this trip to celebrate mine and my dad's birthday, as on the 23rd, my dad turned 50, so might as well. Probably would have been better had I been home, but whatever. Something different. I wasn't with my church too, so it made it better that my 14th birthday was by a long shot. So we stayed at a beach house all last week. We've been using this beach house for a long time. My parents were good friends with the guy who owns it, and it's cheap, so that's where we have always gone since 2016. Now for the actual day. So when I woke up, I noticed nobody was home. So therefore, I went to the kitchen and fixed myself some breakfast. After a little while, Dad texted me letting him know that he and everyone else were at the beach, and told me that to text him whenever I wanted to go. I never went to the beach that day. I was pretty exhausted from the day before, so I felt like being lazy and eating myself to death. And that's what I did. I ate a bunch of M&Ms and Doritos. That's basically what happened all day until around 6 o'clock. Everyone was already back at the house at this point, so we decided to go out to eat for dinner. We were originally going to go to a place called Oscar's, which is, by the way, incredible. Like, if you ever go to North Myrtle Beach, you have to try Oscar's. They have the best fries, but they are not open on Mondays. So instead, we went to a place called Lulu's, which wasn't too far away. The wait was pretty insane. I believe we waited a whole hour before being served. So during that time, Dad let me go to an arcade right beside Lulu's. There, I spent $20. What did I do with my $20? Well, I decided to spend all my money on a grabber game. The grabber would grab rings of tickets, but these rings were huge. So by doing some trigonometry in my head, I was able to determine what grabber would need to be located to get the rings, and it worked. I ended up coming up with 1,500 tickets. With those tickets, I believe I bought an art kit, a deck of cards, a dartboard, and one of them Tootsie Roll cans, and 7 Laffy Taffies. Now, after all that jazz, it was time to be seated, so the food at Lulu's was pretty good, although to be honest, the wait wasn't really worth it, as the wait just sucked. But nonetheless, the food didn't disappoint. So after eating, we headed back to the van. All of a sudden, fireworks start shooting. So I hate loud noises, and fireworks are one of my least favorite noises. So as you can expect, I was pretty freaked out. I was like, can we please get the hell out of here? Unfortunately, my parents decided to stay and watch the fireworks, which kind of sucked for me. Now I also want to mention the next day, June 22nd, as this is a very special day. First off, I want to talk about going to a second arcade. I did basically the same thing I did at the arcade from the day before, but this time the prizes were a little different. So, this was a different arcade, but we did the same. I did the same grabber. So what did I buy here? I bought a Slinky and a bouncy ball, but most importantly, I bought 60 pieces of bubble gum. Yeah, out of all things I could have bought, I bought 60 pieces of gum. It's funny because I still have gum left over today, although not much. I also want to mention this because of the expression on the guy behind the counter. When I asked for 60 pieces, he said to repeat it, and I told him 60 pieces. He made that expression and was just like, are you kidding me? I bet this dude probably quit his job afterwards. He's lucky I didn't ask for a number like 47 or something. Now, the real reason I want to mention this day is because this day was the day that my first video on YouTube turned 5 years old. As a result, I made it public, so now you can now hear what I sounded like when I turned 12 years old. Times have changed, haven't they? This video is called Dimperman Digital Underground 1, in case I want to check that out. I also made a comment on that video too. So that's the end of my 17th birthday, which also means that that's all I got for today's story time. Next week, on July 9th, I'll be discussing 6th grade. Anyways, that's all I got, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Okay. And I see nobody's online, so I'm going to go ahead and stream. So, alright.